What's going on, all you space enthusiasts out there? Your two favorite astronauts are back tonight, and we are back, and we are flying to the moon. This time for the romantic comedy. It stars Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johasson in Fly Me to the Moon.
Fly me to the moon.
My Armstrong is a whiny little bitch. We have to recast. I think we should have gotten Cooper.
And that's right. We are back and we're reviewing Fly Me to the Moon. It recently was released on digital. We missed it in theaters, as did a lot of people. It didn't do too great at the box office. It would have been a movie that they could have just launched directly onto Apple TV Plus. It just had too many movies to go up against at the theaters. But having watched it, I'm glad I did. It was a good story, a fun look back at the late 60s and the space race where the United States was trying to get up to the moon and land on the moon before the Russians. So it was the space race on the backdrop of what was going on in the world there with the Cold War in the backdrop, Russia versus US at the forefront, a lot of things happening in the world, United States politics, and they had to get these astronauts up to the moon, and they were going to have to do it by using this marketing maven, Kelly Jones, played by Scarlett Johasson, bringing her in and helping launch this, campaign basically to get all the politicians and the country on board to this fateful Apollo mission where they were going to send up the astronauts and hopefully get them to land on the moon. But they had a backup plan involved too, involving a mock-up, a fake movie basically being made on a lot there at NASA. And so if they didn't get to the moon, they were going to shoot this fake moon landing and show that, to the public. And it was all so the United States could say that they beat Russia to the moon.
Or is that what really happened with all the conspiracy
Right.
theorists
Yes.
out there?
Yeah.
Which I kind of dive into in a very funny way, but I love how they went about this film. 1960s aesthetic, costume design, the music, everything just felt like back in the 1960s, mid-century furniture. It just felt like you're walking into like Mad Men era, which I absolutely love. And I love the whole setup of this actually taking place back in the 1960s. Kelly Jones, Scarlett Jo playing this character, really amazing. She's hired by the Nixon administration to bring some excitement to the space program for, the moon landing is months away. So getting some excitement about that. And of course, introducing Channing Tatum's character. He's like a NASA director that's already had a failed mission, and other astronauts have died in the past. So he's got a lot on his shoulders and really hoping this all works out to their advantage.
Yeah, he's really the heart of the film. He believes in the mission, and he really has a lot personally invested in the mission, being the launch director. There was a mission before with the astronauts, Gil Grissom and another one of the astronauts that, basically went horribly wrong. They burnt up and they died. So he was personally affected by that. So this mission really meant a lot to him. And you could see that as the movie went on. Cole Davis, Channing Tatum's character, whenever they're talking about this mission, he's fully invested in it and he wants it to succeed. You have a great cast here. You have Woody Harrelson as Mo Burkus. He's kind of the guy on the side working with Kelly Jones. And, he's got his own involvement here. He's working with the government, top secret. He's basically like, we're going to make it to the moon no matter what, whether we actually get astronauts up there or we have to film this fake movie. So that's another one. Another thing that Kelly Jones is tasked with, finding somebody that can direct this movie. So she flies in. This director, Jim Rash, plays Lance Vespertine, who is this director that's used to doing smaller projects. But he's going to come to the lot here, and they're going to mock up and make it look like the moon and have the astronauts, people play, the astronauts here, and make it look real. Hopefully, that's the hope. But this is all kept secret from a lot of people, including Channing Tatum's Cole Davis. And eventually in the movie, he finds out and it leads to some things between the characters of him and Kelly Jones. Another big actor in this movie that's involved in the launch is Ray Romano playing Henry Smalls. He's the older guy that Cole Davis confides in and talks to, and they have a good relationship here. Henry's always outside smoking after the day's done and talks to Cole, and you can see between their interaction just how much like this is important to them. They've worked their whole lives for this, so the both of them really want to make sure that it's a success. So I did appreciate that relationship, but it's not really all about Cole and Kelly and their relationship. And they meet right away at the diner there. They lock eyes, and of course they meet over the rest of the film and end up liking each other, getting invested in each other in the relationship. And that's pretty much how the movie plays, them flirting a lot and them having to work together to make this moon launch a success.
I will say the camera work they used on filming the moon landing was pretty good. I like how they did that. And there's a little funny scene having to do with a cat that shows up to while they're filming this, which actually made me laugh out loud. And a lot of good, humorous scenes in this movie. I actually laughed a lot more than I thought I would, but it's definitely a good romantic comedy / drama that's, really looking at this race that was happening back in the 1960s, of course, and them having a backup plan, kind of changing the narrative a little bit, and also poking fun at the conspiracy theorists out there that have been talking about this for years. So really interesting movie. Great cast here. I love the chemistry between Channing Tatum, Scarlett Joe. Great supporting cast. Whole look of the movie was absolutely beautiful. The 1960s, and I love the music and costume design, and it made me feel like I was going back in time watching this. So I had a really great time with that. So that being said, I'm going to give Fly Me to the Moon, currently available on digital. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 Gambit hair pieces.
Remy LeBeau, is that you? Channing Tatum, he's having a hell of a summer. Obviously showed up in Deadpool and Wolverine. Spoiler, but I'm sure everybody's seen it by now. Playing Gambit, awesome. He does a great job in this. I really liked his character in there. He did a good job of playing the straight man in this, playing a guy who was really personally invested in this and really aspired to make this a success and to make right by the astronauts' sacrifices of the previous missions and the Apollo missions here. Like you mentioned, this movie looks great, like phenomenal. The wardrobe, cinematography, just how everything looked was great. Brings you right back into that era of the late 60s. This movie was directed by Greg Berlanti. He's done a lot of works of film and television along the years. So having him come in like a fresh director to do like a big budget film like this, and I thought he did a great job directing it. A lighthearted movie, something that you can watch with the whole family, and also tells you a lot of the history about what happened at this time. I wasn't too familiar with the movie that they were making on the side there and that whole thing. I'd heard of the conspiracies, but seeing how they had planned it and everything in this movie, I thought that was really well done. There were some really funny moments in this movie. The cat and the person falling off the the roof there and the rope swinging in the background was funny. Woody Harrelson was great in here. Ray Romano. It had a great cast. But had a great time with this movie. For a romantic comedy, it was one of my favorites that I've seen the past couple of years. So with that being said, I am going to give Fly Me to the Moon. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 Channing Tatum hair pieces.
The worst part of this movie is the freaking marketing. I didn't hear anything about this movie. No trailers.
Where
no
was
posters.
it? Yeah.
We're Cinephellas. We check movie news every day. Heard nothing about this.
Not a lot about this one. Yeah, you're right.
I heard this through word of mouth. A few of my coworkers saw it. They're like, check it out. I'm like, huh? What's that? Never heard of it.
With the marketing.
Yeah, and it was only in theaters by my place not very long, a few weeks. So didn't get a chance to see it, but glad we got to watch it on digital and share our thoughts about the movie. So I want to hear from all you wild astronauts out there. What did you like about Fly Me to the Moon? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite film of 2024 thus far? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Check out these wild rascals on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV movie news and reviews.
And that's right. We'll be back very soon to review some more movies. Another Apple TV Plus movie we're about to review here, The Instigators, starring those two Boston boys, Casey Affleck and Matt Damon. How about them apples? So until the next Cinephellas movie review, I'm Uncle Henry Hill.
And I'm Uncle Big Ralph signing out to the next movie review. Cheers!
Cheers.